Here we are. There you are. This is Roto RX. I'm maybe Singleton. People find on Twitter. That's Tehol Beddict, the Lord Beddict on Twitter. We're going to attempt to keep the show at a rapid pace this week. For once, maybe we'll get it to the time length that we want, which is in the 30-minute range. But we're attempting to give you in-depth coverage and a comprehensive list of players at that. So hopefully this is beneficial. Let me see what I wanted to start off with just to introduce things real quick. Of course, I want to thank Fantasy Assembly for posting these. I want to thank Razball for giving us permission to use Tehol for these. Today's Knuckleball, fake teams, friends of the site. Today's Knuckleball, actually, Greg Jewett is going to give us a little synopsis on Ryan Rule later on in the program. What else? I want to mention I don't want to go off on a whole tangent, but we will tip our hat to Orlando and tell you all our thoughts with everybody there. And I want to ask you, how are you doing this week, sir, my friend?
Oh, it's a rough week. It's the Lord's sister's wedding is this weekend, so it's going to be a little out of control. I've been running around trying to get the outfits on point. I had to get a haircut. I had to do a bunch of different things, and it's been a little strenuous because, I'm still deciding whether or not I'm going to allow my sister to marry this guy, or if he's deserving to be related to the Lord, or if he needs to be have his nuts clipped.
Well, we mentioned before we started you are still in the cat house, and it looks like you're reenacting some sort of risky business meets Christmas vacation. I'm not sure which it is, but I did want to congratulate you on your sister getting married. I wanted to ask you, is this some epic Game of Thrones type of arranged wedding, or?
You'll see. I mean, it's going to be pretty cool. It's at a mansion. Lord Beddict the first once lived in this manor, so it's sort of an exciting time. So it should be pretty epic. I'll definitely be filling in people on Twitter, and if they follow me on Snapchat, they'll definitely get a full view of what's going on there. Lord Beddict 47, or I think it's just Lord Beddict on Snapchat. Straight up, follow me on there. You want an inside look at this wedding? You're gonna want to see celebs. You want to see who's there. Trust me.
All right, royalty at its finest. And speaking of, you mentioned Twitter and Snapchat. Follow us on Twitter. You could ask your questions during the week if you have any things you want to know, waiver advice, trade advice, anything like that. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel, Nickel Press TV. We're not the only show on this channel, so there are other good things going on that you might be interested in. Well, I mean, football-related stuff that you and I participate in as well. So there's other things and other reasons to be a member of the Nickel Press family. So subscribe to the channel. You might be seeing us for the first time through Twitter ads. We're trying and experimenting with that. So maybe we have some new members of the audience. Welcome. And what else? Leave your comments, like the videos, all that kind of stuff. So we can go back to the wedding later. I wanted to tell you real quick, I completely regret. The doctor was in New York City this week, and we had plans to go, and unfortunately I got jacked up working, responding to a lot of emergencies here in Brooklyn, and I was unable to meet him. But your father was in town, and I truly regret not seeing the doc this past Monday. But we got to have you come out here as well. Anyway, let's move on. We're roughly a month away from the All-Star break, and let's just talk about a couple real quick. Two guys that are scorching over the last week. That's Josh Donaldson. Just this past week alone, he's hitting .407 with 2 homers, 12 RBIs, 9 runs, and 11 hits. And the bigger guy I wanted to mention, it's kind of a weird number, is J.D. Martinez. This past week alone, he's got 14 hits, batting .609. However, he has 0 homers, 3 RBIs, and only 3 runs. So the numbers are just weird. But kudos to all of you who showed patience in holding on to JD. He's a guy I was high on this season. So it's nice to see he's getting the average up. He's still at 12 homers. How do you feel about Josh Donaldson and JD Martinez? You want to add anything to them real quick? There's nothing really much to say. They are on fire, as I mentioned.
Yeah, no, you don't want me to be ranting along, so I'm just going to let you smooth this work, go through this one. It's all good. JD Martinez, he's a guy last year killed it. He's a guy classic, could be set up for a drop-off this season since it kind of sort of came out of nowhere last year, monster year. But it's good to see that that's not the case, and he kind of is what he is, and you were dead on correct about him as per usual. That's all I'm going to say about that. We know Josh Donaldson is a savage.
Savage. Well, we're going to jump right to things. I mentioned the doctor. We're going to bring him in right away. As you're talking, I see some glitches in your video. As we mentioned, you're in an undisclosed location. I wanted to quickly remind everybody who may have watched last week why I was just a still shot the whole time. I, like an idiot, forgot to hit record, and that was what that was all about, in case you were wondering. So moving on, let's bring in the doctor. He is making these videos for you on the road. This guy is, like I said, all over the place, man of the town. And we're going to get into pitching this week, specifically with the injuries. Gerrit Cole, of course, hit the DL. Scary scenario for the Pirates. Maybe they have some coverage there with the prospects they have. But what does the doctor have to say about Cole's injury?
Daddy wasn't there to take me to the fair. Oh, it looks like he's in the condo, the penthouse right now.
I think it's a hotel.
Oh, Four Seasons,
the Plaza.
Trump Tower.
This is not a political show.
Hey guys, this is Dr. Selene Parekh, the Fantasy Doctor. We're talking pitchers today all day long because a lot of pitchers are having a lot of things going on. And we're going to start off with Gerrit Cole, pitcher for the Pirates. Now, on Friday, Gerrit Cole was complaining of tightness in his triceps muscles and in his tendon, which attaches to the elbow. So if you look at your triceps here, it goes all the way from the back part of your shoulder, goes down the back part of your upper arm, and attaches to the back of your elbow. And usually what you're going to see is right around this area here, the triceps muscle group becomes a tendon. Now what he's complaining about is tightness. And with that tightness, you can have issues with releasing the ball. And so he's on the disabled list. He had an MRI done on Saturday. The great news is the MRI showed that there was no structural damage. So this is likely just some tendonitis occurring in the triceps tendon. Now that can take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks to heal. I doubt he's going to miss that much time because the MRI just didn't show much going on. So the realistic timeline is probably under 2 weeks we'll see him back in the starting rotation. And that's great news for Pirates fans.
That is great news for Pirates fans. As I mentioned, they might be able to they might be the one team that might be able to withstand an injury to their top starter, given what Jameson Taillon is showing he can do, what he's shown he can do in the minors. And now against the Mets, he had a no-hitter going through, 5 or 6 innings. They also have Glasnow. They also have Chad Cole. So, I mean, they're loaded with pitching. Pirates are a force to be reckoned with. Before we get into Taillon, I was going to mention him. I guess I kind of did now. We mentioned some guys that are really hot. I wanted to jump in real quick with 2 guys that are really cold, and that's James Shields. Your buddy, James Shields, back in the AL now. He's made 2 starts. He's thrown 7 innings. He's given up 13 runs. It's disgusting, as you would mention, of some players. And Travis Shaw, he's kind of hit the tanks too. He's batting 133 over the last week. 0 homers, 0 ribbies, 2 runs, only 2 hits. So nothing to see really from a positive direction from those 2 guys this week. I mentioned Jameson Taillon. Bunch of guys getting called up. Bunch of guys, Jameson Taillon, Blake Snell for the Rays, Tim Anderson, shortstop for the White Sox, is now up. Jose Peraza is finally going to get his chance with the Reds. Zack Eflin is taking Vincent Velasquez's spot. We'll have the doctor talk about Vivi in a little bit as well. And a brave rookie, John Gant, another starter. So I just gave you 6 rookies that are all getting their call right now. You have any that you particularly are more fond of than another? Obviously, Taillon's a stud. Blake Snell, you got any love for Snell?
Yeah, I like Taillon obviously quite a lot more than anybody else. I like I'm big into Snell too. I'm kind of feeling him. I think he fanned 13 in his last minor league performance. Defense has been letting him down a little bit, so the runs have been a little higher than I was hoping. But I had him last time. He had that nice start against the Yankees, and I think we're going to see more of the same. We'll probably have a few rough spots here and there, which is what I go for all day. I just got dug in the booty by Archie Bradley yesterday with his Ks, but just giving up the runs. Hopefully Snell gives up less homers, but is able to kind of do the same thing. I like Snell quite a bit. Anderson, I like him a little more than most too. I mean, they're worried he's not going to hit enough to really be valuable. But shortstop's weak. He'll probably steal a bunch of bags. He's cool, but I'm pretty loaded at shortstop, so I won't be adding him anywhere. But yeah, it's a fun time. It's a fun time for the rooks right now, and I'm buying all of them. I love young men like that coming up. I get heated up and excited when the boys come to play, and we're ready to go. And the rookies are going to show us what they got.
Well, you were talking about some of the stud pitchers, as we mentioned. I want to mention John Gant on the Braves for the simple fact that his numbers are a lot better than what they might appear to be. If you look at his minor league stuff, his entire career has been as a starter. I think it was something like 82 career minor league starts. 82 career minor league games, 78 of which were starts. The Braves had him working out of the bullpen this season, unfamiliar role. His ERA is like somewhere in the 6 or 7 range right now. He's filling in for Williams Perez, who's on the DL in the Braves rotation. And he got 1 start so far. Wasn't that great. It was 100 degrees in Atlanta. It was his first start in 2 weeks, something like that. I think this is a guy that has sneaky value going forward. He gives you some nice K numbers. And like I'm telling you, his numbers are a lot better than what they would appear to be on paper. So keep an eye on John Gant because I'm pretty sure he's available in 100% of leagues unless you're playing with me, and then he's available in 99% of them. We mentioned Tim Anderson. You like Tim Anderson with the speed. He's a big swing or miss guy, but he's got a little pop and definitely a lot of gas in his legs. That kind of sounded weird, but Jose Peraza is another kind of similar guy, only hits for a better average. Are you sold that he finally might get a chance to stick in Cincinnati, or do you think this is just kind of a temporary thing for him?
It'll be temporary unless he lays wood like we once hoped he would. Yes, it will be temporary unless he comes through, finally becomes a man, joins us in the world of men instead of the league of little boys playing on the road, eating Subway sandwiches, 6-inch meatball subs for lunch every day on his per diem. Yes, it's going to be temporary unless he wants to grow a pair.
And hopefully we can get a Subway sponsorship out of this now, on top of it all.
No, I'm a foot-long lover.
Okay. Now that we got that established. Let's bring the doc back in. One of your favorite players, not only in fantasy but in real life as well, Yu Darvish, had high hopes, high expectations for this guy. He's back on the DL. Little scary considering, he was coming back from major injury. So is it something that is going to be a problem the rest of the season?
Rangers fans are all waiting to hear what happens with Yu Darvish. Now, this is a big deal potentially. Yu Darvish missed all of last season with Tommy John surgery where they rebuilt the inner ligament of his elbow. And that's great news. We saw him back on the mound for 3 starts, and during those 3 starts, he looked pretty good. The problem is that he's now having some shoulder and neck issues, and what that really means is hard to decide right now. Because sometimes when you have surgery on an elbow, you'd stiffen that up, the mechanics gets thrown off with throwing, and you can irritate both the shoulder and the neck. Now, if that's the case, trainers will work with him, work on his mechanics, and we may see him back on the mound within 4 weeks or so. The problem is if he has something inherently wrong with the shoulder and the neck itself, meaning that he could have a rotator cuff issue, he could have rotator cuff tendonitis, he could have a labral issue, or he could have some neck issues like a disc problem or some spurs pushing on the nerve, and we just don't know right now. So it's hard to give a timeline on this because, again, if this ends up being more of a mechanical issue because of strain being thrown on the neck and shoulder from his Tommy John surgery, that's great news because that can be really worked on pretty easily. If it turns out to be something bigger, something more inherently wrong with the shoulder or the neck, then look for extended time loss for him.
So how does that make you feel?
Sounds like I need to fly down to Texas and give my boy you the magic touch, give him a little massage, get the neck going, get loose a little bit, because my boy is a savage. He's my favorite pitcher in baseball. I think he's going to be okay. That was positive from the doctor. I think it's going to be all right. I think he's going to be okay. I hope he just misses a minimum time here and just he's good to go from there on out. If it seems like it's nothing major, so I'm good.
All right. I mean, I think it was kind of a tease that he came back this soon to begin with, because we were preseason discussing maybe July, so we're still in June, and he came back, looking pretty good. So I don't know. I know you're a big fan. I know you rock the Darvish jersey, so I feel for you more than I feel for me because I don't have him on any of my teams. Long-term holds. What's that?
I'm on every team.
Do you have the video playing in the background or trying to load still?
I don't think so.
All right, because you're freezing a little. What did you say, though? I didn't hear it.
Oh, I said I got you everywhere.
Oh.
You. But you.
You. Long-term holds. A couple guys, rookies, young guys, Carlos Estevez and Jefrey Marte. One's a closer. One's a corner infielder that's trying to convert to an outfielder. I want to know what your take is on these two guys and if you're believing in them long-term. Estevez is the Rockies' temporary closer, while McGee's on the DL. You also got Ottavino rehabbing his way back. So this is more than likely just a temporary, 2-week kind of interim closer role. But so far he's 2 for 2 in save opportunities. And as I mentioned, if he can show the Rockies any type of security for the future, maybe all of a sudden they're looking to trade McGee or Ottavino and hand him the job going forward. Jefrey Marte, on the other hand, as I mentioned, corner infielder, third baseman, first baseman, and he's been swinging a decent enough bat, and he's got a lot of power potential. They're trying to convert him to an outfielder now. So either of these two guys, are you trying to pick them up somewhere? Are you buying them long term, or you think these are just flash in the pans? Don't really get too excited over them yet.
Oh man, if there's one thing you should know about me, I'm a closer hoarder. That's what I'm known for: snatching up closers, trading them, dealing them, closers. I always like categories anyway, and I always have excess, and there's always people desperate for a closer, and I'll trade off a good one here and there. I traded, they're just closers. I always be trading closers. So Estevez, Emilio's stepbrother, I like him a lot. I really do. He's shown me a lot. They traded Jake McGee. They traded for McGee. They gave up Dickerson for this guy. God knows why. It's one of the stupidest trades I've ever heard of. That's a ridiculous joke of a trade that I would like to rehash here when we have a longer period of time to do so. But I really like Estevez. I really like what he's shown so far. I think he's fine. Trade McGee now. You're not going to go to the playoffs. Trade McGee now. Get something, dude. I mean, this is a joke. Whatever.
Be hard to trade him while he's on the DL, but I agree with you. Especially where you got Ottavino coming back as well. I don't think they knew what they had with Estevez, and now he's there and gives them some flexibility at the back end.
The guy I'm surprised is so terrible is Castro. I really liked Castro coming over for the Blue Jays. I liked his power arm. He's just been terrible. I don't know what to make of it. Hopefully he turns it around, but that's off subject. We don't want to do that. Let's keep going. What about Marte? You have any thoughts on Marte? I know he's a AL West guy, so you see him a lot with your Mariners. Is he somebody that you're fearing the Mariners facing for an extended period of time, or are this kid not bothering you yet? First of all, I fear nothing. The Mariners fear nothing. We're going to win the World Series this year. It's all coming together for us. Marte is a nice bat, though. I think he's going to be okay going forward. I like what he brings to the table, and definitely somebody you should buy on right now while he's hot and, see what happens there. Okay. Another long-term hold I wanted to mention, and I got the doctor to talk about this one first, is Tim Lincecum, who is also now with the Angels. I think he's set to make his debut. I think it's this weekend. Saturday or Sunday he's going to be starting. Looked pretty good in his minor league rehab appearances. Mm-hmm. The word on the street is that he needed new hips.
He's got new hips. Problem solved. So should we expect the old freak? Let's see what the doctor says.
Angels' Tim Lincecum is finally making his major league return sometime in the next week. Now, this is a big deal. Tim Lincecum had major surgery back in the latter half of last year. And if you look at what he had done, you just have to think of players like Alex Rodriguez to understand that this can be a very long recovery. It can really inhibit your play. So if this is your hip, the head of the hip, and this is the socket of the hip, there's a labrum or a tissue called the labrum that helps to stabilize that hip ball joint from moving around. In addition, what can happen sometimes is as that labrum tears, this head starts rattling around, and as it rattles around, you can start developing bone spurs that try to stabilize that head. And so what Lincecum had done in the operating room is that the labrum was repaired and the impingement or bone spur was removed, and that allows more stability to occur to the ball of the hip, and now can move around and work as it functions. But it's a long recovery, and if you look at him in his performance in the AAA so far, he's been pretty good. In his last outing, he was fantastic. So look for him to come back. I'm expecting big things out of this guy this season, especially given that it sounds like he's been rehabbing well. He's been pitching well in the AAAs. So I think he's a must-have. Again, I'm expecting big things. You may notice that his velocity is not exactly where it needs to be as he gets going. But after All-Star break, I just don't think this is going to be an issue, and I think he's a must-have.
Ah!
If you're telling me a two-time Cy Young Award winner who didn't have an arm issue but had a hip issue and seems to have resolved that is going to be close to his old self, I'm buying. I'm excited to hear this news. On a side note, in all of your escapades and romps, have you ever had any hip fears or woes or scares?
Yeah, I had something similar to what Percy Harvin went through when he had to get the bone shaved down a little bit. A lot of too excessive thrusting will do that for you. Strange positions when you're going through the pages, flipping through the pages of Kama Sutra. It's you find yourself in some strange positions with some strange people at times. So it just became a problem, and I had to go in for surgery. And that put me out for I was on crutches for about 4 weeks.
Wow. And did you come back?
Unlike Percy Harvin, I recovered in full. And there's many women who can attest to that.
So you came back stronger than ever. All right. Well, let's get back to the Lincecum. Are you buying the freak? Are you all in? You like what this guy was doing?
This is crazy.
What's crazy?
This is crazy that Lincecum could literally, if he comes back and is anything remotely close to what he was before, this is one of the biggest stars of the year. Unfortunately, nobody else believed, and he signed with the worthless Angels, who are going absolutely nowhere. This would have been much cooler if he signed with the Mariners or somebody who was like a true contender. But yeah, he's been dominating in the minor leagues, so that's crazy to me. Like I can't believe, I won't believe it till I see it. But if the doctor's on board, this guy's on board too.
I'm with you. I think it's a game changer. If he can be, they need arms there. They've been troubled by arms. You still got Trout. You still got Pujols. You got Marte, like we just mentioned. You got a chance to put up some runs. So if you can get some pitch and there's an extra win every 5 days, maybe you're looking at a different team. I like it. And if not, and he is anything, you got trade bait. Go get yourself Tim Lincecum. We're going to go now to a segment of the show we've kind of flirted with. We started and we kind of went away from it. Chase or replace.
I don't chase them, I replace them. I don't chase them, I duck them, I replace them with another one.
And I'm going to ask you a total of 7 players, and you are going to let me know, is this a player you are chasing and trying to find a place for on your roster, or are you replacing? Andy Duffy. We know the name. He's been around for a while. He's spun 3 straight quality starts, including 2 wins. He's got 25 Ks in his last 18 in the 3rd innings pitched. Are you buying this?
Am I buying or am I chasing? I'm chasing.
Well, yeah. Are you chasing or are you replacing Duffy?
He's on the waiver. I'm chasing. I'm grabbing him. I'm pulling him in, pulling him on my roster, and streaming him while I have the chance. Will this last? I'm not so sure. I've always kind of been a fan of his, though, to tell you the truth. So I'm kind of intrigued. I'd own him for right now. Yeah, I'm chasing him. I mean, you're probably gonna replace him. Let's keep it real with ourselves at some point. But I'm chasing him for right now.
All right. Yeah, I think he's always tantalized us, and now he's showing why. With the stuff he's doing, the K's kind of surprised me. But okay, moving on. Mitch Moreland. I know you love to bash Mitch Moreland, but this past week alone, he's got 4 bombs and an average north of 300. So, are you chasing Mr. Moreland, or do you think he's what we've seen of him in the past? Has he done something different with his game lately that has you convinced?
Yeah, he's definitely chaseable right now. These are the only times you can own him is when he goes on these streaks like this, as he's known to do. This is why he's managed to hold on to that first base job there when guys like Chris Davis have been sent back and all these other guys they've had. Teixeira's been in there. That loser they traded to the Mariners in the Cliff Lee deal, I won't even mention his name. Justin Smoke, actually, I will mention his name. He's a loser. But Moreland is able to hit 20, 25 bombs. He's going to continue to do so. I'd love to see Joey Gallo or somebody input there. But when Moreland's hot like this, he's hot. He starts raking him, and it's just the times in between where you're dumping him like a bad bag of dope. But you got to own him for times like this. He's definitely chaseable right now when he's on a burner like this. Oh no.
Okay. Well, let me reiterate what the whole concept is. So, somebody we're assuming owns Moreland, or maybe he's on the waivers, but we're assuming somebody owns him. Are you going after him in a trade, or if they offer him to you, are you taking it? And conversely, if he's on your roster, are you keeping him, or are you looking to move him and replace him?
If he's on my roster, I'm looking to trade him for a pack of double mint gum if I can. Trade him.
So you're replacing him.
Replacing him. Now I got the rules straight. We're good to go. Feed me.
Okay, so let's go back to Danny Duffy then. You got him on your roster. You replacing him or you keeping him?
Trading him. Replacing him. I'm replacing Duffy.
Okay. Trayce Thompson. His brother Clay on the ropes right now. Cleveland has a series. May not get the back-to-back, but his brother's hitting home runs in L.A. You buying this guy? You chasing? You replacing? What are you doing with him?
I am buying it. He's a freak athlete, just like his bro, the real MVP of the Warriors, Klay Thompson. I'm not going to get into the Pop-Tart who plays point guard, who can't even win MVP of an NBA Finals 2 years in a row, which is unheard of, which is the most unmanliest thing I've ever heard of in NBA history for an MVP. 2 years in a row. Is this real? But Thompson, the dude's a G, went to Washington State University. Clay went there. Trayce Thompson, yeah, I believe it, man. He's a freak athlete. He's good at the hand-eye coordination. He's going to got the sweet stroke just like his bro. I'm chasing. Bye.
On another tangent real quick. What's more important to you, a regular season MVP or finals MVP for any sport? What would you be more prouder of?
Regular season.
Okay, so doesn't Curry have 2 of those now?
Yeah, but it's embarrassing that you're not even close to the best player in the NBA Finals 2 years in a row.
Whit Merifield. This guy came out of nowhere.
Think back in history. Has that ever? What?
Whit Merifield. Guys came out of nowhere. 27-year-old rookie. He's now batting .326 through 95 at-bats. Is this the real thing?
I'm chasing him because, unlike the rules that you explained to me, I don't think this guy's on anybody's roster yet, or at least not very many rosters. So I'm chasing him, and I'm picking him up waivers, and then I'm replacing him like the GIM. I'm flipping him once he keeps hitting and somebody bites.
All right, flipping Merrifields. Flipping Wits. This one, I'm real curious to hear your thoughts on. Chris Tillman. Because this week alone, he's 2-0 with 16 Ks in 14 innings. He's now up to 9-1 on the season. What are you making of Chris Tillman? If you got him on your roster, are you keeping him, or you replacing him?
I'm probably gonna chase him. I'm probably gonna chase him and keep him. I'm probably gonna hold him. I'd probably try to replace him if I had him, but you're probably not going to get anything great in return. Maybe a closer, like an outfielder, if somebody's really desperate for pitching. But yeah, it's another guy the Mariners traded away like morons in that beautiful trade a while back. I won't get into it, but
so you'd be actively trying to acquire Tillman? You'd be actively trying to acquire Tillman? No? All right.
I don't spend chasing peasants.
Okay. Tom Koehler, a New York native. Another guy. He's putting it together. He's been good for 8 straight starts now. Chasing, replacing.
I'm replacing him, man. If you can get a bag of Frito-Lay's chips and a fruit punch for this guy, take it. Take it and run. Take it.
Okay. And the last one, we mentioned the Rockies before, Rockies pitchers. One of your all-time favorites, Jorge De La Rosa, is back or said to be back in the Rockies rotation.
Rosa.
So, if you're looking for starting help, are you going out and chasing this guy? Is that a yes?
Rotation, yeah.
Is that a yes?
I'm always down to buy.
I'm working with Max Headroom here.
I'm always down to buying Jorge De La Rosa. He's one of my favorite players. When the K's are going, he's going. The Rockies are flowing.
All right, good stuff. Well, that is going to do it for that chase or replace. We're going to have to get this going a little better for next week. I want to bring in the doctor one more time. I mentioned Vincent Velasquez. We were going to see his opinion on that and tell us some more about the VV injury with sad news. But guys like Zack Eflin are the beneficiaries of that. I don't know if that's good or bad. So how long should we expect to see Velasquez out? And should we expect any lingering effects?
I want to know.
All right, next up on the docket is Vincent Velasquez. Now, he has a biceps tendonitis. Now, if you look at the muscles of the biceps tendon, the tendon itself attaches right here on your elbow. It then spans up as a muscle group, and you have 2 attachments right here up by your shoulder. Now, what he's having is biceps tendonitis, and if you look at his velocity of his pitches in the last game, his velocity dropped off, which tells you that the biceps tendonitis was causing him pain. And now, again, this is another very important tendon that functions to help pitchers really throw with some velocity. And when you have that tendonitis, you have difficulties with really whipping that arm and being able to really get the velocity you need and controlling the ball like you want. So tendonitis in general, you're looking at about 4 weeks, plus or minus a week here or there, for him to be out of the starting rotation. So at this point, I think you're going to see him after the All-Star break. But I don't think this is going to be a lasting issue for him. Typically, biceps tendonitis with rest, anti-inflammatories, and with performance trainers working on his throwing mechanics can get this under control fairly quickly. About a 4-week timeline is my estimate.
Well, that makes me happy because, as some of you may know, Velasquez is one of my favorite young pitchers. So I'm pleased to hear that from the good doctor. I think that is going to bring us to all the players we were going to talk about. And I have to be honest, it is increasingly difficult recording this episode this week because my buddy over here, it's kind of a backhanded compliment because people should be thanking you for still taking the time and making the effort to make sure we have a show on a weekly basis. However, the conditions you find yourself in are not conducive to recording a quality streamed episode. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. I'm going to turn it over now to a friend of mine, a friend of the show, Greg Jewett. He is currently writing for today's Knuckleball, which I know I've mentioned a few times on this show. So thank you to everybody. Today's Knuckleball, a bunch of great articles over there. He's going to tell us about Ryan Rua, and here we go.
Hi, this is Greg Jewett from today's Knuckleball.com. I want to take a moment and add to the show today with a little waiver flavor with a look at Ryan Rua from the Texas Rangers. Most people have been leaving him on the waiver wire, but he's been one of the hottest hitters over the June, and he was hitting 4th on Tuesday night in Oakland for the Texas Rangers. With Prince Fielder on pace to hit 12 home runs this year, it's time for Texas to get a little bit of a different look, especially in the middle of the lineup. Through 43 games this year, Ryan Rua has scored 27 runs with 6 home runs, 18 RBIs, and 6 stolen bases. He raised his average to 300 last night, which included his second game in a row with a home run, and he had 3 RBIs against the Athletics. He does mash left-handers, and he's hitting over 400 against them this year, but he's proven himself to be a little bit more worthy of deeper league looks, and he's on the fringe of 12-team teams as we speak right now. Presently, he's on pace for 15 home runs and 15 stolen bases. He does have a little bit of speed. He was going to be the starting left fielder for the Rangers last year before a bad ankle injury, which limited him to hitting under 200 in AAA and in the majors last year when he tried to come back too soon from the injury. This is an opportunity for the 26-year-old outfielder to not only make a move in fantasy, but to become a full-time player for the Rangers as they make a playoff push here as the summer moves forward. This is somebody who back in 2013 hit 32 home runs across 2 levels of the minors with 14 stolen bases and 91 RBIs in 127 games. In 2014, in 129 games in the minors, he had 18 home runs with 6 stolen bases and 74 RBI, and then he had a brief debut with the Rangers in which he played 28 games with 2 home runs, a stolen base, and 14 RBIs, but he hit 295 with the team. People are going to look at his BABIP right now and notice that's a bit inflated, and of course his average is going to come down some, but this is a player with the potential to hit about 270, 275 playing in that Rangers offense, and he can stay in the 4th or 5th spot in that batting order. This is somebody that is a very nice addition, especially if you're in a deeper American League only format, or if you're playing in 14-team or deeper leagues. He's fringe 12-team right now. You want him to stay a little hotter, but for June, he's 13 for 38 with 9 runs, 4 home runs, and 10 RBI. His OPS this month is 1.120. So if Ryan Rua is out there and you have a team that's looking for a little bit of home runs and it could use a little bit of speed, I think he's somebody that merits your attention. You can find my work online through today's Knuckleball.com. It's my Twitter handle is GJEWETT9. And again, I want to thank Andy for the opportunity of being on the show, and I look forward to hearing your guys' opinions about Ryan Rua.
So let me ask you a question. He mentioned BABIP. Do you have to change your shorts? Does it work the same way if you hear other people mention it?
It is an automatic reaction. Bow.
Well, I know you're upset that he didn't mention you. Don't take it slight. He's with you in spirit. I want to thank Greg for doing that. He wanted to make sure I mentioned, he left it out of the video, that Rua already has as many home runs in June as Fielder has all season. So there's that added extra little nugget. What's that?
I like him. He's good. He's real good.
Yeah, I liked him last year when I thought he was going to be the starter, and then he kind of flopped a little. So I kind of backed off a little.
I meant the guy telling us about him.
Oh, Greg? Yeah, Greg's awesome, which is why I told you we're bringing him on and have a couple other guests lined up over the next few weeks as well. So we'll see how many people we can get on here and add to this show. What about Rua then?
I like Rua too, but I think Prince is going to hit.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna end it with that then. Do you have anything you would like to say to anybody before we turn this show off?
No, I'd like to dedicate this episode to my sweet sister marrying this loser. But we're all good. I apologize if things didn't record smoothly. We can always re-record in another time.
Next week. We got another show next week.
Hopefully you got enough material for 1 week. I feel terrible about this.
No, don't worry about it. I'll work my editing magic. Thanks again to Greg Jewett. my buddy over here, Lord, for the Fantasy Doctor, Selene Parekh. This is Nickel Press TV. This is Roto RX. Make sure you're following. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like, comment, all that good stuff. I will extend my wishes to your sister as well. And we'll see you next week. Take care.